Thanks for having me, guys. First of all, it's really nice to see you both.
Yeah.
I think, I think when I was a kid, I think one of the things was my mom used to read to me when I was small. Um, she really went out of her way to make sure that happened all the time,
Yeah.
and that has since translated to me with my kids. I read to my boys every night, and there was something about that as opposed to films and television and stuff that that forced me into my own imagination,
Yeah.
and she would do funny voices for the characters and stuff like that as well. So, but it started a relationship between me and my imagination and my capacity for like envisioning story. And I think so. I think books were the answer. Is really books were the beginning of it all. And which is really how we first told stories with pictures on cave walls, and then writing and documenting stories and stuff. And so the concept of story came. That's how my relationship started with the concept of story. And then I realized that, and also clowning around and being a bit silly, like I was always a bit of a show off and stuff. And my family would allow that and sort of support that. And so I think when the time came that I was like, hey, maybe I'll try to do this or try to get into school for it or something. It sort of just made some sense, and I don't know. Yeah. I also think that the exposure to like theater and films and stuff was a
Yeah.
big part as well, though. Like mum used to take us to the theater, and so we were always exposed to all those arts, and it all sort of was part of it. But the beginning really started with books.
Every time that we've been around you, Hawaii, out here in the mainland, you've been super positive and stuff, grounded and motivational. What do you do, or what helps you to keep that spirit up?
Um, Positive, grounded, and motivational are. Look, I don't know about motivational. Thank you for that, by the way. I think that like I'm a pretty motivated person. Like I'm always kind of moving and getting things done, and I think that can be motivational to be around that energy. I was just thinking about balance actually. Like the thing I strive for most is balance. And I sort of always have, because I'm either going one way or the other. I'm either like 100 miles an hour, or I'm just like, whatever, I'm not going to do anything. And so there's that middle ground.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty motivated to keep moving, which is good, but can be burdensome on the people around me sometimes. Like I've had periods in my life when I've been more negative, and it doesn't serve me. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't. What's the end game for it? You get to kind of. So I try to be positive because it feels better, and I enjoy my life, and I enjoy the people around me. And the people around me, most importantly, enjoy me more. When I'm positive. So that's really just a choice that I make. Grounded. I think I can give the appearance of being grounded, but I'm not really. I'm not really that grounded. Um, but I don't know. No, I think that what I would say about being grounded is that, because you guys, we've spent quite a lot of time together. We've gone diving. We've spent a lot of time together in Hawaii, and you guys know me personally. So I would say one of the things that just staying in the moment is really important. And that sounds a little kind of airy fairy, I guess, as I say it. But what I mean is, it's really easy to future trip. It's really easy to sort of. It's quite difficult to be in the moment for me anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, thinking about what hasn't happened yet comes more naturally, and thinking about what's already happened than just sitting peacefully. So that's also a practice and a choice.
So especially during COVID, since we need to be staying active, we know that you're super into fitness and activities like jujitsu. What are some things that you've been doing during COVID to stay active and healthy, and mentally and physically?
Yeah, it's been a bummer during COVID for people who like, because jiu-jitsu is pretty up close and personal. It's not like there's no 6 foot rule applicable to that particular martial art. But We at the beginning we sort of reset up we have a little gym in the garage with mats and stuff, and we bought a bunch of other stuff that and started doing like baby boot camps for the kids, and we sort of started working out as a family really, and putting on some music and doing that stuff, and that was really cool, and because we were going to go crazy, we realized that, you know, so we started doing that, and that was pretty regular. And we also live, you know, our hill, we have quite a steep hill out the front of our house. And so we started like running the hill and incorporating that. And luckily we have a pool. So we were like swimming and doing laps in the pool. And I think one of the things that we realized early on in this pandemic is that physically keeping moving was actually going to help us psychically as well, you know, and because we were all just going to go crazy if we just sat here. And then slowly the beaches opened up a little bit, and then they closed down and they opened up. And so we've got to go. We've been able to sort of run down and go surfing, or run down and go for a quick little dive, or spear some fish and run home. Or so it's been it's been a sort of mishmash of things, just putting things together each day and coming up with a new plan each day. But they're the main things that we sort of focused on. And also bike rides with the kids. Like, we're a family that really like we love going on rides. We love, you know, going to the beach together, going surfing together, going diving together, doing all that sort of stuff. So, and we've all got bows and arrows now. So we've been doing like archery in the gallery in the back, which has been cool.
Yeah, I actually got my first fish on my new spear gun.
What was the fish? You got to tell us about your fish, Luke.
It was a sheep's head. I got it down south.
Good fish. How big?
About 2 feet. Tasted super good. Nice
Just
white.
bigger than the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's being a little modest. It was pretty big.
Nice.
Yeah. So you do jujitsu more than meditating. Do you meditate a lot or at all?
That's like a call out right now, because I've been really lazy with it. I learned how to meditate, and I learned about the concept of meditation, which I thought was ridiculous, by the way, when I learned about it. A friend of mine had been to India and studied and done, and like, she was really serious. And I was like, this is nonsense. I was 19 years old, maybe I was 18. And so I learned about it back then, but then I did some classes, and that's when I first got to see how incredible it can be, you know? And so once you know, like, you can't unknow something like that. And so it's been a part of my life on and off ever since then. And there's been times in my life when it's been much more, when I've had a formal practice, I guess is what you would say. You know, there's been times in my life when I've been much more committed to a daily practice. And I'm not in one of those times right now. I haven't. It's been a minute. I meditated last week, and it was really nice, but my consistency is off at the moment. But I will say that meditation is, when I'm meditating regularly, my life is not only calmer, but better. Like, it's sort of higher quality life.
Yeah, I know. I've been kind of like wanting to get into meditation, but I've been like, I just don't really know where to start.
Well, I can help you after the interview. I can give you a couple of like apps to look at and stuff like that, because there's a lot of stuff out there that you can get dialed in with now. The simple stuff, that's a really great place to start. But that's sort of what I need to do again, I think, as well, Baz, is I need to get back to my like Headspace app and just commit, you know. But isn't that funny? Because we live in this age of immediacy, right? Where everything is a like 5-second video, or it's like quick. We got to quick. Everything's quick, and it's like the average attention span is like 5 seconds or whatever it is. And the thought of like sitting, God forbid 20 minutes, but even for 5 minutes and just sitting why is it so daunting to us just to like exist for a minute?
So what would you say your favorite stunt from Hawaii 5-0 was, and what was your most challenging? I know that's That's definitely a question I want to know.
All right. Well, first of all, like I'm an actor, I'm not a stunt man, and the fact that I went on to that show, I think I did the pilot for that show 11 years ago now, and thought I could sort of do any of them was kind of crazy. And I think a part of me, so I'm prefacing this answer because I want to make it very, very clear that my stunt men on the show are the guys that were the real heroes. They're the guys that you probably don't even know their names. Justin Sundquist and Paul Lacavara, those guys they're hard dudes, man. They're really tough guys, much tougher than I will ever be. And they take the really, really big hits. And look, I took some hits, and I think it was in hindsight, I would have done it differently, but at the time, like, I wanted to please people, and I wanted to make it as good as I could make it. And there was a bunch of different reasons why I did the amount of stunts that I did do. And I also liked the thrill of it. Like, I like going fast. I've always had motorcycles. I like the adrenaline. And I think if you'd have asked me this in like season 2 or something, I would have been like, well, definitely this and that. And now it's just such a blur of like chaos that I can't give you a specific, like, oh, when I smashed through that window and went through that wall, or jumped off that building, or fired a gun riding that horse that quickly, or whatever it was. But I'll tell you what, they're all challenging. Like, the bigger the stunt, the more the challenge. But I think the problem is, like, when you're someone like me who's not as talented as those stunt guys, and you think you can just do it, and then you keep working and you don't have time to recover, and you end up with injuries, that's when it starts to get really challenging. And you're trying to push through them, and you think you're doing the right thing. And so it ultimately culminated in a bunch of bad choices from me. But to get back to sort of 10 plus years ago, it was really exhilarating. Like, anytime I got to sort of free fall through something, or dive through windows, or whatever it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, and I don't have to go to hospital. But sometimes I did have to go to hospital.
Okay, so we have like a couple just quick questions to end it off. What's your favorite smell?
What'd you say?
I said, what's your favorite smell?
That's what you said. My favorite smell. You know what? I love the smell of fresh water. And might sound weird, but like, I have a shower outside here, the shower I have out by the pool. And I really get the smell there, because I think it's because I've surrounded it in stone. There's stone walls around it and the wood underneath. But there's something about the smell of fresh water with nothing in it that reminds me of when I was a kid, because I was landlocked when I was little, and we used to go swim in like freshwater rivers and stuff, and dams and stuff. And it just, I don't know. So the smell of fresh water is and it's also the smell that you get when you're out in the mountains, like when you're in a wilderness, and the smell of that water in the rivers and the streams up there. Random.
Yeah. So what is your biggest hope or biggest dream for yourself after being an actor?
Yeah, I mean, it's always my biggest hope and dream is that I don't suck as a dad. Really, it really is. It's.
Well, we've seen you as a dad. You're pretty good.
Well, thank you, mate. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. But it really is. It becomes, when you have kids, the beginning and the end of every day. It's just always, how did today go? Did I do it right? Because there's no guide. There's no. So yeah, there's no book. I mean, there's a lot of books, but there's no one's. There's no one way to do it. So I think that's my biggest focus.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Good question. I think it's a dead heat between good Japanese and good Italian. If you took those two foods out of my life, I don't know if it'd be worth going on. I think I just have to like pack it up. And I really like traditional Japanese food. Like, I love when I actually go to Japan, all the different sauces and flavors and the way they do things. Like I love traditional Japanese food, you know, which not everyone likes, you know, and that's but I love the flavors of traditional Japanese cooking, especially the Kyoto style of cooking, where they do the sort of, I don't know how many courses they bring you, like maybe 19, I think, tiny little bits of this and that. And I love eating that way. It's amazing. And Italian, just anything, anything good. And
Yep.
you know, and the funny thing is when you go to Italy, you can eat as much of that wheat as you want. You don't get like lethargic and puffy and snotty and stuff like we do in America with the wheat here. So it's sort of a different experience. But yeah, they're my two foods.
Okay, so last of these questions.
Yeah.
Dream place that you've never been to?
A dream. Did you say a dream place that I've never been to?
Anywhere in the world that you want to go?
Africa, I think, is top of the list at the moment. There's a lot of places as well. I really want to go to Patagonia. See what I'm doing? I do this. You say one and I say seven. But
So why Africa?
Well, I think it's just that amazing, like all the big animals that they have that no one else has, and it's sort of where it all started. And so much history, you know, ancient and all the unrest that's happened and all. I don't know. I really want to go to Africa. I really want to learn more about Africa. I want to go to Africa, but I want to take everyone, and I want to wait until the boys are big enough to remember it all.
We are super grateful that we were able to interview you, and
right on.
Hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to see you in the second dimension anyway here, and I appreciate you guys inviting me to be a part of this, and you guys are Hanai to us anyway, so we'll be seeing you soon, and we love you guys, and thank you, man.
Nice, you guys.